So this is probably a statement I never thought I would ever make, but I actually agree with Cardi B. Cardi B is in the right, somehow. So I'm assuming most people are aware of who Cardi B is. For those that aren't, she's basically one of the biggest female rappers around. Obviously massive on Spotify with almost 40 million monthly listeners, and also pretty huge on all other social media platforms as well. She had one of the most played songs of 2020, that being WAP, featuring Megan Thee Stallion, an iconic song that people either love or absolutely despise. I find it pretty terrible, but I can definitely see why some people might like it. Anthony Fantano, aka The Needle Drop, even rated it as one of his best songs of 2020, which still stuns me to this day, honestly. Anyway, she was in some pretty hot water over on Twitter and Instagram the other day, and I wanna give my thoughts on it. Even though I don't really like Cardi B or enjoy listening to her music, I still believe that no matter how much you hate a person, if they make a decent argument, despite having made several unrelated stupid remarks throughout the years, you can still defend them on that one point. I'm not a Cardi B fan at all, but I think this recent situation is a prime example of people getting upset about an artist and even trying to cancel them for basically no reason at all. So what did Cardi B even do to cause people to lash out on her? Let's watch the clip that started this mess, and in it she's playing WAP, and I need to replace that with another song, otherwise my channel will get striked down, so I'll try to find a similar song to substitute it with.
Ass, titties, ass and titties, ass, titties, titties, ass and titties, ass, titties.
This was taken from one of her Instagram stories, so the kid in the background is Cardi B's daughter, Culture, and if you hadn't realized what happened there, Cardi was basically just promoting her single and like vibing to it on Instagram when she realized that her daughter walked into the room, and then she instantly turned off the song because she didn't want her to hear that song. Since the lyrics of the single, yeah, are not too suited for kids to hear. Okay, so before we get into any of the reactions people had towards this apparently controversial decision, I don't even get how anyone could have even been offended by this in the first place. I feel like this would absolutely be the appropriate action to take as a mother or even just a sensible parent in general. It's completely justified and reasonable to not want your kids listening to that stuff. I mean, look at these lyrics, for crying out loud. I wouldn't exactly define them as very child-friendly. This is clearly not a song children are supposed to listen to, especially when you take into account that the iconic music video to the song, which by the way has over 300 million views, got memed to death on social media and received additional clout from viral TikToks as well. So the majority of listeners definitely connect the song with that video, and it was probably one of the most sexual YouTube videos and music videos of all time, even though YouTube didn't even age restrict it because it probably made them a lot of money. But that's a whole different topic for another day. So it's pretty clear that this sort of music is not intended for kids to hear, which is why I absolutely understand her decision to put the song off when her daughter showed up. If I had a child, thank God I don't because I'm still in high school, but if I had one, I obviously wouldn't let them listen to this, especially when they are as young as Cardi B's daughter, who's only 2 years old. Everyone below 13 would probably get traumatized by this, but apparently I'm having an unpopular opinion. So let's look at some upset Twitter users and what they have to say, since their opinion is apparently so fucking important. So your daughter can't listen to it, but everybody else's daughter can? Exactly what I've been saying. You have an agenda to push with that trash ass label you're with. Disgusting. What? Do people get upset about anything an unpopular artist does nowadays? It's not Cardi B's responsibility to make sure that your kids aren't listening to her music. It wouldn't make sense for her to go out of her way and prevent people from being able to listen to her music. The only person she realistically would want and can stop from listening to overly sexual music is her own daughter. It is entirely your own responsibility to prevent your own children from listening to stuff like this. If you cannot stop your kids from listening to it, then it's your own failure as a parent. Blaming Cardi B for that is just delusional. And then you have people like this. It's time she stops this kind of music videos she drops. That shows more responsibility of a mother, because her children are also gonna grow up and see their mom half naked. What? Okay, let me point out the flaws in this statement. Firstly, she literally stops her child from seeing this in the clip you're complaining about, so that her kids are gonna be growing up seeing their mom creating this part makes no sense at all. And as for the claim that she needs to stop, let me try to illustrate why this doesn't make any sense. You're saying children could see this inappropriate content, therefore she should be forced to stop. Okay, so what about adult movie stars. I don't want this to be age restricted. By your logic, all adult performers would have to stop creating, just cause children could hypothetically be exposed to it. The same goes for movies that are 18 plus or anything that is considered harmful or damaging for children, really. Regardless if you create adult movies, produce incredibly explicit music, or brew whiskey, you are not responsible for stopping children from consuming your content. That is their own parents' job. You also cannot be held accountable if they do, unless you're directly out there handing it to them, which Cardi B is not. Therefore, claiming all this stuff shouldn't even exist in the first place in order to protect children is an incredibly moronic statement on your part. It's the parents' complete duty to stop their kids from consuming this, and I would even argue that Cardi B has set a good example for that. So I still can't believe why so many people got mad at her for that, and especially how people are saying Cardi B is a hypocrite for stopping her own child from listening to her stuff. Makes no sense at all to me. So you're saying everyone else needs to be 100% transparent with their jobs around their kids? Here's why you're wrong. Drug dealers have kids, for example. That doesn't mean they sell drugs to their kids. And the same, again, goes with sex workers. And you wouldn't show your own nudes to your child, would you? Of course they want to prevent their kids from being confronted with that kind of stuff while they're so young. That's such a brain-dead statement of this guy to make, honestly. I love you, but I'm sorry. No way in hell would I let my little ones listen to you, and as a parent, if I heard them have it on, I would shut it down quick. That is adult music, and it's their parents' job to monitor it. Shout out to this lady. This was one of the good responses using common sense. The same way that you can't blame the beer brewer for your child's alcohol problems, you can't blame Cardi B for your child listening to her inappropriate music. Cardi B herself responded to these claims made about her. You need to stop with this already. I'm not Jojo Siva. I don't make music for kids. I make music for adults. Parents are responsible on what their children listen to or see. I'm a very sexual person, but not around my child, just like every other parent should be. There's moms who are strippers, pop cats, twerk all night for entertainment. Does that mean they do it around their kids? No, stop making this a debate. It's pretty much common sense. Yeah, I totally agree with this. I think I have articulated that fairly decently throughout this video. Cardi B's music is very clearly not intended for children, and therefore she's absolutely right here. Okay, to summarize, if your kids are looking at content that is not suitable for them, then it is 100% the parents' responsibility to prevent their kids from seeing that. Blaming creators of art that is only suitable for adults is not only moronic, but also pretty fucking pathetic, cause it shows your own shortcomings as a parent. So Cardi B, in my eyes, did nothing wrong in this situation. In fact, she did the right thing. That being stopping her daughter from hearing her music, which is what every responsible adult should be doing instead of going on Twitter complaining about Cardi B's overly sexual music. But that's just my overall opinion on this whole stuff. If you have different thoughts, then fuck you. I'm joking. Let me know in the comments, and I'm always excited to hear you guys' thoughts, so even if you completely disagree with me, that's okay. Follow me on Twitter, like this video, and subscribe if you haven't already, and